As children, we usually root for the heroes, but as we grow up, we start to understand and sympathize with the villains.
All I have are negative thoughts.
I don't know what disfigured your life like this.
Maybe normal people don't freak out. Maybe it's just you.
Did you think we could be decent men in an indecent time?
You're wrong.
Is it the adversities of life that make us feel this empathy with evil? That the disappointments, lies, and betrayals we suffer make us stop seeing the good in society and in things? The truth is that it's all much broader than just a mere dualistic question of good and evil, of right and wrong. Especially because, let's take a step back, what would good and evil be? Who defines that? Is it God, religion, the government, the law, authorities, the rich, or your parents? Anyway, in this video, I'm going to show how iconic villains can help us understand the complexity of human nature and, above all, collective morality. What are you looking at, idiot? An analysis that challenges our common sense, challenges our basic perceptions, and still reveals something fascinating about ourselves.
I'm only going to hurt you. I'm only going to hurt.
Evil figures have existed throughout history, appearing in myths, legends, and religious texts. They appeared as a way to symbolize humanity's deepest fears and to justify the existence of moral and social values. They served as warnings, as lessons, representing what could happen if the paths of virtue and order were abandoned. Over time, we've seen these figures become increasingly complex. Authors like Shakespeare and Dostoevsky explored deep psychology, creating three-dimensional characters with clear motivations, desires, and personal histories. A development that allowed readers to understand villains, not just as simple embodiments of evil, but as human beings with understandable conflicts and desires. The villain is often the one who views the world differently than most people. A guy whose experiences, the things he lived and suffered, are the main driving forces behind his actions. Where the search for justice and revenge are the solutions that life taught him for his problems, so cruelly deceived that he can't trust anything else. Let me help you, and let's be honest. Who hasn't felt deceived, betrayed, or wronged at some point? Villains, through their controversial actions, manifest and expose an evil that, although it varies from person to person in some way, everyone carries inside themselves.
Those people up there, the rich and the powerful, they do whatever they want. Guys like us, you and me.
The growing popularity of villains as protagonists is no coincidence. People's identification by deeply exploring this dark side opens us up to understanding what shapes these complex characters, showing that the battle between good and evil is far wider than fairy tales imply.
You see that things are not sequential. Good doesn't lead to good or to evil.
People steal, they don't get deceived. They live a good life, others lie and lie.
Since childhood, society teaches us the notions of right and wrong. However, over time, we see that our results aren't directly tied to these good and evil rules.
If the rule you followed brought you here, what was the use of that rule?
As Machiavelli said, any man who tries to be good all the time is bound to end up ruined among the great number of those who are not good. Therefore, a prince who wishes to maintain his authority must learn not to be good and use this knowledge or refrain from using it as necessity requires. It's a mere illusion to see yourself as a good person all the time, because no matter how good you are, you will always be the villain in someone's story. Morality is not a set of fixed and defined rules to be followed, but something that is constantly changing, with much ambiguity and countless conflicting perspectives.
Humans are a unique kind of plague, multiplying and burning our whole world while enforcing a structure of their own, deep down, an unnatural structure. Where others saw order, I saw a straitjacket. A cruel and oppressive world dictated by invented rules.
The problem with morality is precisely these pre-established rules, making it a subject that's rarely questioned. We often credit it to something beyond ourselves, whether divine, structural, or forbidden. Thus, it becomes unquestionable, superior, and eternal. I wanted to suggest you question morality and what supports it. Ask yourself what morality is, who morality serves, and why it can't be questioned.
We see a dead sin. Each chain reaches every house, and we tolerate it. We tolerate it because it's common, it's trivial.
Nietzsche says morality is a human invention, a reflection of customs and values specific to a certain era, maintained more by habit and submission than by any value it supposedly has in itself. And once established, obedience to its precepts tends to prevail, because it is already internalized in people. The interest in villains is often sparked by a rejection of this collective morality.
I can do whatever I want.
They create their own morality, they're free from doctrines, and they act according to their own sense of justice.
They are moral, they are a code. It's a joke. They fell at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you when things get tough. These civilized people will eat each other.
To better explore ambiguity in morality, my favorite dilemma is the trolley problem. The question is, would you switch the track of a train to save 5 people at the cost of 1 life? Or would you not interfere and let the train follow its normal course, killing the 5 people? Many people want to know more about this situation. Who's on each track? A family member, someone you know, a child, a politician, or someone else? But for the sake of simplicity, consider a homogeneous group that you don't know. What would you do? Defenders of consequentialism will say that the morally correct action is to maximize happiness or minimize suffering, and therefore to save 5 lives at the cost of 1. On the other hand, according to deontologism, an ethical theory by Immanuel Kant, human actions should be guided by moral duty and not by expected outcomes. From this point of view, it is morally wrong for you to harm an innocent person, even if it leads to a greater overall good. In the end, the reality is that regardless of the decision you make, you will be a hero to some and a villain to others, because it depends a lot on each person's moral values and mainly on the way the story is told. The classic cartoon Tom and Jerry is an example of that. Initially, Tom and Jerry seem like mortal enemies, but as episodes progress, their interactions oddly reveal a mutual dependence. Without Jerry, Tom's life would be peaceful but dull. Without Tom, Jerry wouldn't have any opponent to outsmart, which would make his life significantly less adventurous. A mutual dependence unintentionally makes them best friends, forcing Tom to always pretend he hates Jerry as a way to protect him, so that Tom's owner won't want to replace him with a cat that actually wants to kill Jerry. This reveals how our roles aren't fixed, how our perceptions can change and depend on different perspectives, which can have multiple layers of meaning that go far beyond our dualistic understanding of right and wrong. Another example I like is the final scene from the movie Batman, The Killing Joke.
I don't know what disfigured your life like that, but maybe I've been through it myself.
We can work together.
Can I rehabilitate you?
You aren't alone.
In this scene, Joker finds himself defeated by Batman, who instead of finishing him off, offers him help, an unusual situation that even leaves him speechless.
Sorry, but no.
No. It's too late for that.
But quickly he goes back to his character.
That reminds me of a
joke that is nothing more than a metaphor for this situation.
2 guys were once locked together in an asylum. And one night, they decided they didn't want to be there anymore and decided to escape.
The 2 madmen in the story represent him and Batman, who got tired of living in madness.
They went up to the rooftop, and there, on the other side of a small gap, they saw the rooftops of the whole city. They saw all the freedom.
The first guy jumped to the other side without any problems, but his friend? Not at all. He was afraid of falling.
Batman was the crazy one who managed to jump, and Joker was the one who stayed behind, afraid to return to freedom and once again not be able to deal with the suffering and the sanity that it would require.
So, the first guy had an idea. He said, hey, I have a flashlight here. I can light up the gap between the buildings.
You cross through the light and come over here.
This part symbolizes Batman offering help to Joker for his rehabilitation.
But the second guy said, if you think I'm the crazy one, you'll freak out when I get halfway there.
In this way, Joker reveals his fear and distrust, believing that they will lose faith in his recovery. As a result, he will be abandoned during rehabilitation. He starts laughing out loud and Batman laughs too, indicating that he got the joke. Realizing that despite wanting to help Joker, he is incurable and still doesn't want or have any hope of being rehabilitated. Therefore, Batman sees him as a threat to society and feels compelled to kill him right there. A death that, although not clear in the image, can be inferred since you only hear Batman's laughter at the end. Not to mention the movie's own name, The Killing Joke.
That's not what they say, the joke. All of you, the system that knows so much, you decide what's right or wrong.
When you try to destroy the world, that's an error in judgment.
When it's one of us, let's lock him up and throw away the key.
I told all these stories to illustrate how complex the issues involving morality are and how thin the line is that separates a hero from a villain. After all, is Batman above the law to judge and decide by himself whether Joker could recover from his madness or not? Is Batman a protector of society or a cold-blooded killer who took justice into his own hands?
No matter what you do for them, they'll end up hating you. So why care?
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
To understand these aspects, it's essential to recognize the polarity of life, that is, the idea that there are opposing and complementary forces in constant interaction, rather than a total unresolvable clash between good and evil.
I know something that children don't know.
What?
No one bad is really bad. No good person is completely good.
It's very common to see people deny and devalue philosophies that soften the absolute differences between good and evil. But that's where the big paradox lies. Because the tendency to condemn others and find evil in them is directly linked to a person's lack of awareness of their own dark aspects. Carl Jung believed the evil we see in others often mirrors what we ignore or deny in ourselves.
What you truly fear is inside you. You fear your own power and anger. The urge to do great, terrible things.
What man does not understand, he fears, and what he fears, he tends to destroy. Heraclitus, an ancient Greek sage, discovered what Jung defined as the most remarkable psychological law of all, the regulating function of opposites, called enantiodromia, which means running in the opposite direction. And it brings the idea that things often turn into their opposites, a concept widely used in the creation of villains, where a traumatic past is reflected in an evil future. I'll give a few examples for clarity. In the Killing Joke Batman movie, the final scene. The movie first tells Joker's story, showing he initially wanted to make people laugh and care for his family.
What do you mean? Let's feed our son. Do you think I'm not worried about that? I'm sorry, I can't support you.
It's okay. The baby won't be born for another 3 months. I have
to get you out before the baby is born.
But the tragedies that happen in your life end up taking you to the other side.
There was an accident this morning, a short circuit, and my wife died. I'm so sorry. The police officer said the chances were 1 in a million. You just need one bad day.
Why did something like this happen to me? The thing is, I went crazy.
Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of Arthur Fleck is another Joker that explores this concept. A victim of society who rebels against it.
What do you get when you cross a lonely man with mental problems with a society that abandons him and treats him like garbage?
There's also Anakin Skywalker, a promising hero destined to bring balance to the Force.
You're good, don't do this.
I'm going to become more powerful than any Jedi ever dreamed.
But his rising insecurities and need for power push him to the other side, becoming Darth Vader.
Obi-Wan told me terrible things. He said you turn to the dark side.
In Breaking Bad, Walter White, a family man,
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Walt.
an underappreciated chemistry teacher with a terminal diagnosis, transforms into a methamphetamine manufacturer and dealer. Hello, Carol? Batman's Two-Face in The Dark Knight. He's an honest district attorney where his strong belief in justice is corrupted by chaos, making him go from a defender of the law to someone who subverts it based on chance.
You thought we could be decent men in indecent times. You were wrong. The world is cruel. The only morality in a cruel world is chance.
And to close the case of Syndrome of the Incredibles, who is an unconditional fan of superheroes, especially of Mr. Incredible.
You're that kid from the fan club. Let it go, Cheek.
But after being rejected,
Fly home, Cheek. I work alone.
he turns into a villain who dedicates his life and his technological resources to eliminating superheroes.
I just wanted to help you, that's all. I just wanted to help!
Just give me a chance. I know I don't have superpowers, but not all superheroes do. You can still be super without them.
Who's the super one now?
A destructive obsession, seeking to eradicate those he once aspired to be.
But I learned an important lesson. You can't trust anyone, especially your heroes.
I was wrong to treat you that way.
In real life, enantiodromia is often an unconscious process used by the mind to correct imbalances in our lives. We believe acting this way helps free us from inner conflicts. But it's nothing more than a response to a lack of understanding and integration of aspects of our mind. For Jung, the only person who escapes the relentless law of enantiodromia is the man who knows how to separate himself from the unconscious, not by repressing it. Because if he represses it, it simply attacks him from behind. But by facing it clearly as what it is, recognizing that evil exists in ourselves and others can make us less likely to project it onto scapegoats. That is, blaming others and holding them responsible for personal problems, instead of recognizing one's own inability to deal with their dark sides. A practice widely used throughout history, which illustrates the human preference for a simplistic dualism of us versus them, avoiding the recognition of the real complexity of events. The Chinese concept of yin and yang illustrates interdependence and harmony between opposites, where the yang, the white and positive part, and the yin, the black and negative part, are represented by two fish that seem to be biting each other's tails, in what seems like an eternal conflict. Now the key question is, are these two fish really in conflict? If that's the case, then it's clear that life is, fundamentally, nothing more than a grim competition. If one represents the good guy and the other the bad guy, if one represents order and the other chaos, then there is a battle between them. That's usually how we handle conflicts in our lives. We simply try to hide our dark side to make it go away. But think for a moment, what happens if the white fish swallows the black fish? It simply ceases to exist because it only appears in relation to the black. So, if these two fish become aware and understand this dynamic, they will realize that they are one. They move together and are inseparable. And this perception is the experience that is called awakening in Buddhism. An awakening that life is not really a competition, to make the yes triumph over the no, to make the positive triumph over the negative. Because both sides move together, opposites are just different expressions of the same reality. An understanding that allows you a more balanced and less combative approach to adversity. Understanding that every aspect of our experience, no matter how painful or evil it may seem, can lead us to growth.
Chaos is not a pit. Chaos is a ladder.
Many who try to climb it fail and never try again. The fall breaks them, and some who have the chance to climb refuse. They cling to the realm or to the gods or to love, illusions. Only the ladder is real. The climb is all there is.